Hello YouTube, Domo from Team K4RD F here to bring you a Weiss Schwarz deck profile and a trial deck review of the Puella, Magi, Madoka, Magica trial deck. So in the first part, I'm going to explain the trial deck and its contents of its cards, and then in the second part, I'll go review the trial deck and give my opinion about it. So let's begin. First off, level 3s. That's not level 3. Put you later. 2 Akemi Homeras. If you guys don't know what this card does, then it gets plus 500 power when you have 4 or less stock, and an encore skill where you discard a character from your hand. And its other skill is any character facing it gets -1 soul. Pretty good card. This is my favorite card of the deck, by the way. Just saying. Because, you know, Homura. Next. Last great. Level 3. I'm sorry. Vanguard and Weiss Schwarz. Grades and levels. So, level 3. Madoka Kaname. So this card is a very good support card where what it does is if the number of cards you have is 3 or more, it gets plus 1k. When you call it, it gives plus 2k to everyone, including itself. Excuse me. And another skill is an act, you stock 1, and then you get plus 2k power till end turn. Yes. So, level 3s, you get 4. Focus back on the mat. Level 2s, we get 4. Ally Justice Saika. Her skill is when you have 3 or more magical girl characters, she gets plus 1k during both turns. So she gets 9k if you meet their requirements. Next, 1 Common Wishes, Kyoko and Sayaka. Her skill is during your opponent's turn, she gets plus 5k, 500 only for every magical girl character. So she's a pretty good defensive card. And last, level 2, we have Fighting Against Fate Homura. So her skill is... oh, freaking glare. So her skill is, when you stock 1, she gets plus 2k till end turn. So this deck comes with 6 level 2s, and we'll talk about that in the review. Level 1s, let's go get them first. Level 1s, we have 2 Common, no, it's not Smiling Saika. So this card is the assist card, one of the assist cards in the deck, and she gets plus power to the people in front for every assist card times 500. So say there's 2 of her, she boosts for 1k, she boosts for 1k. And her encore skill is when she sits in the waiting room, you can discard a character and call her back. Next, one of my favorite little ones, 2 Law of the Cycle. So this card, basically what it does is, let's go zoom it in because it's so super good. You pay 1 stock and you search your deck for 1 magical character and you add to your hand. So I will review that in the end of this video. Back to the deck profile. We'll leave you at the end. 4 5,500k beaters or 55k, I'm not sure if I'm right. Sayaka beaters. 2 of the same 5,500k beaters. 4 Magical Girls of Sayaka. She's a counter card and she is able to give 2k power to any of your cards that's being frontal attacked. And now the last card, which I always seem to butcher the name, but people here, it's not my fault. You see that? Pronounce that for me. Battle with Walpurgisnacht's Homura. So what this card does is, when she attacks, she can look at the top card of the deck, or top 2 cards of the deck, and she puts 1 on the top and then 1 in the waiting room. So it's pretty good. For level 1s, we have 4, 8, 10, 12, 15. Is that 15? Yes, 15. 15 level 1s. Now, level 0s. Gets 4 3k beater Sayakas, 4 3k beater Homeras, 2 Lonely Fight Homeras. So what she does is she's a shift, and when she's in your clock, you're able to switch her out for a green card in your hand. 2 Kyosuke Kamijo's the only boy in the deck. what he does is when he attacks, he's kind of the same as this card. So when he attacks, he can look at the top card of the deck and either put it on top or bottom. Next, 2 Nurse Aid Madokas. This card's pretty good because it gets a skill when a specific climax card is in the climax zone, and I'll explain that in the review. And to last finish off the level 0s, we have 4 Ordinary Girl Madoka. She is the normal booster of the deck, and what she does is she gets plus 500 to the front people in front of her, and that's about it. That concludes the level 0s. Next, climax cards. We get 2 I Won't Rely on Anyone Anymore. So what this card does is when you trigger this, you can put this in your hand and you put the top card of your deck in stock. And when you play this card from your hand, then you give plus 1k and 1 soul to all your characters. Next, 2 Miracles and Magic Are Real. So this card, when you trigger it, plus 2 soul. When you play from your hand, you give plus 2 soul to all your characters. Simple as that. Next, my favorite climax card in the deck. The Girl from the Dream. You get 4 of this. And let's go zoom in because I love this. So, when this card is placed on climax from the hand, you put the top card of your deck in the stock, and all your characters get plus 1 soul till turn. And when you trigger this, plus 2 soul. So, one of the reasons why this is my favorite, because I remember watching this from the anime, and I saw this as a climax card, and I was like, oh hey, I remember when this happening in the anime, so yes. So that concludes the end of the deck review. 8 climax cards. Chronos counts. 4, 6, 8, 10, 14, 18 level 1s. Wow. 15 level 1s, 18 zeros, 15 1s, 6 level 2s, and then 4 level 3s. Alright, I'll be back in a bit to talk about the review. Alright, to start off with the review, we'll go from how we went to deck profile. So, level 3s. In this trial deck, it gives us 4 level 3s, 2 of Homuras and 2 Madokas. So, when I first got the deck and I started playing it, I didn't realize that there's only 4 level 3s, and I felt no problem with that. So, when I first started playing with this, I either got it or I didn't get it. And when I saw it, I was like, oh hey, there's one of my level 3s, and then where are my other ones? And I was able to get them in my hand and use them. But then there came problems when you'd stock check them. No, stock. Put them in stock, or they'd be in your clock. They either be in your stock, your clock, or your waiting room. Yes, one of those. So, having 4 isn't bad. Well, I'd say it's half. So, it's bad for some reasons, and it's good for some reasons, because I personally did not have problems having 4. So, I guess it's 50-50. And in my opinion, I would totally get more because these cards are so good and they're like the top dogs of the deck or the top magical girls of the deck. And they just are pretty strong, and you could easily call this back because of its encore skill, and that's a pretty good encore skill to have. So that is what I think of level 3s. Another issue, something about the deck is the level 2s. We only get 6. You get 4 of this girl, which is 9k for you and your opponent's turn, which isn't bad because it can kind of easily match the power of level 3s. But, so these other 2 single level 2s. So this one gets plus 500 for every magical girl you have on your opponent's turn. So this could be essentially stronger than a level 3 on your opponent's turn if you have full field. That's like 1, 2, 3, 5. 5 plus 5. 2,500, so this would be 11,000 power if you have a full field, which is stronger than my level 3s, so no wonder they give you 1. And this card, so when you stock 1, it gets plus 2k till end turn. So, like the same thing with level 3s, I did not notice that there were only 6 level 2s in the deck, and I just didn't notice, and I would just get them a lot, or I wouldn't be bothered by it. So, to see that I wasn't bothered by having only 6 until like I looked into the deck. I never get this as much. I don't get this. I get this sometimes, but this I get a lot in the deck. And personally, you need more level 2s, but this child deck works fine for some reason, having only 6. And that's why I think level 2s. Level 1s. What makes this deck so good is the ability of this card. So this card is able to let you search for any magical girl you want in your deck. And being able to do that in a deck that only has 6 level 2s or 4 level 3s, you can easily search for the aces or like good cards before they're in stock or in the waiting room. And that's what gives this child deck its sort of edge and like makes it that it's not crappy. Considering we only have 1 of this card too, it's not bad. I'd probably switch it for a Law of the Cycle, but I don't have another child deck. And the 55k beaters, there's like 6 of them, and you know, it's not bad. The beaters aren't that bad. In my opinion, get more of this Law of the Cycle. Now to the level 0s. So we have 4 of the boosters for Madoka, and she's pretty decent. In my opinion, I get her sometimes, and what I really want to talk about is this card. So Nurse's Aid Madoka. So her skill is when this climax card is there, Girl in the Dream, she can attack stock 1 or stock blast 1, whatever you call it, and you can get a card from your clock and put it in your hand. Then you have to put the top card of your deck into your clock as replacement. So basically, this means that, scenario. So if I clock this, because I needed to draw cards, and then I play this combo, I can get this back, and now I have my ace in my hand, so which is pretty useful at times. So say you get this, or this, you can get one of them. So yeah, being able to get cards in your clock that you put in early game is pretty good, and having only 2 in the deck is not bad. I get her sometimes, and I sort of pull off the combo at times, but I would totally recommend getting more. And we have other cards like this guy who can look at the top card and stuff. It's not bad to do. This card, I sometimes use her skill, but I see like no reason why you'd want this card late in the game. Maybe early game it kind of works, but I don't get it early game, or I don't use it late game. Lots of 3k beaters that help in the beginning of the fights. And level 0s are pretty good. And we run like, what, 18 of these? And there are 15 level 1s. Yeah. Yeah, I want to mention that also. So, because of the lack of level 3s and 2s, we get to run more level 1s and 0s. Which is like making sure that you're not grade stuck or you can't call anything at the beginning of the match. Because once you get your level 0s and 1s, then you want to move on to level 2s and 3s, which are not much of a chance, but you have a lot of 0s and 1s to work with at the beginning of the start, at the beginning of the fight, so that you won't be stuck. And for climax cards, so Girl in the Dream is what makes this is like my favorite climax card, and it makes this whole deck like very fun to play with because of this card as well. And just because they give us 4 means that, oh hey, this is an important card that you could use. I also find this card to be useful a lot, and it's pretty good to be able to have a lot of stock ready in the late game. And just having 2 soul isn't that bad, but if I had a child deck, another one, I'd probably get more of this because stock is really helpful and important in this deck and could benefit you in lots of ways. So that's what I think of the climax cards. So a review, the overall review of this deck. Even though we have 4 level 3s, as I mentioned, for 6 level 2s, I found no personal problems with it. I play the deck well, and you will see in my fights, I have beat other decks, well, another child deck, and that, you know, even though the deck has level 2s and higher, we have the ability to search. And with this ability to search, you can get those level 3s and 2s before they're like stocked or in the waiting room. And these cards are like, they work together. So like, you need other magical hero characters, and this one is like, this one could take anyone by itself. But then if you have like Madoka, then yeah, these cards work together with themselves. And like, if you do get that, then like this works together with this, and you can play this climax card, and then all your characters get +1 soul. Yeah, they all work together. So like, because of that teamwork and like how this deck can work with other cards and how like support each other, it's what gives this deck its edge, in my opinion. And out of 10, let's see. Out of 10, I would give this deck an 8. An 8 out of 10. Yes. Because, well, not a 9. Well, I would really like to get more of this, but I'll have to buy another child deck. Being at only 6 of these level 2s is not bad, but you only get 1 of these cards, which are pretty good if you can get them. But because like I have a high score because of this, and this, and this, and yeah. So yes, 8 out of 10. And I personally think that the deck is worth getting, but if you have the choice, get 2. Yes, get 2, and get your 8 grade 3s, or 8 level 3s, and you like more than 6 level 2s, and don't build this deck, or like upgrade the child deck with this another child deck. So that is my opinion on the Madoka child deck / deck profile. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see and you will see some more Weiss Schwarz content and more Cardfight Vanguard content. I will see you guys later. Bye. Bye.